Hey guys, Shaman here with another Shaman video for Dragonflight. Today I actually wanted to talk about the recent changes that have come into the PTR for patch 10.1 and how I think this affects Elemental Shaman, but also a little bit of enhancement going forward and kind of what my thoughts are on it. So I've been getting a lot of questions about what I think of specifically the tier set changes along with the recent buffs to both enhancement and Elemental Shaman. So we're going to dive into that in this video. So recently, an overall change that has happened to just every class is that our health has been increased. I think it was like 25% across the board, right? And then the damage of all enemies in the game's just been increased by 25%. So with this change, this is kind of why we're seeing, and if you hadn't noticed that before, and you might be confused about these healing changes, but that's why we're receiving all these healing changes. So healing surge, earth shield, chain heal, healing stream totem, it's all been increased by 25% or more for both enhancement and elemental. But the big changes for elemental are the tier set. So Aberrus, the 2 set bonus, we used to gain Stormkeeper every 40 seconds. That's been up to 50 seconds. I don't like this change. I think it's a little bit overboard because it's getting too close to the base cooldown of Stormkeeper at 50 seconds. I think it's just 5 seconds too much. If they changed it to, or if they increased every time that you gain Stormkeeper instead of 40 seconds to 45 seconds, I think that would have been a lot more reasonable. Elemental Shaman was performing exceptionally well in raid, so I think that's why they're nerfing this tier set, especially the 2 set bonus. But the good news about the 2 set bonus is that, let's say that your tier set bonus is about to give you the Stormkeeper charges, right? But Stormkeeper's off cooldown for you. Now, obviously, we want to try and use our cooldowns on cooldown. If you have an active Stormkeeper, like your baseline Stormkeeper is used and then your tier set procs, it actually has a little bit of a grace period, so it's not going to override your current Stormkeeper. I think it has like 6 to 8 seconds or something like that, where actually it might even be as low as 4 seconds, where it will give you the additional 2 Stormkeepers after you've consumed the first 2 Stormkeeper charges from your regular Stormkeeper. But it doesn't work for the opposite, obviously. So if your tier set procs, you get the Stormkeepers and then you use Stormkeeper, your used Stormkeeper ability will override and not give you additional stacks of Stormkeeper. So I think this would actually be a really good time for Blizzard to kind of adjust this, and instead of giving us like a grace period, I think they should just allow Stormkeeper to stack up to 4 charges. This would alleviate a lot of issues and faults in play and kind of give us a better quality of life change, in my opinion, and obviously keep the duration maybe a little bit higher as well. If you increase the duration of Stormkeeper by like 2 to 4 seconds and allow Stormkeeper charges to just stack a little bit higher, I think that'd be good. But that's just my thoughts on it. Moving to the 4 set adjustments. So for 8 seconds after you consume Stormkeeper, your Lightning Bolt, Lava Burst, Ice Fury, and Frost Shock generate 75% was 100% more Maelstrom. And your Chain Lightning, Lava Beam, and Earthquake critical strike damage is increased by 20%. So I understand this nerf quite a lot. We were generating so much Maelstrom so quickly after we consumed Stormkeeper. And this was obviously really good for raid, for single target specifically. So they nerfed that. I'm really glad that they didn't touch the critical damage increase on our AoE effects though. I think that would have been an overboard change, but I think the adjustment to Maelstrom generation for our single target abilities is justified. We were just generating too much Maelstrom and it was increasing our single target damage way too much. But side note, since we're talking about Elemental here, even though they nerfed the tier set, they actually buffed us to compensate for it the following day. So Lava Surges triggered by Primordial Surge increase the damage of your next Lava Burst by 15%, was 25%. So Primordial Surges was the node underneath your Primordial Wave. So when you ran the Primordial Wave further beyond build, you went into Primordial Surge. So that way you would just get so many more Lava Bursts during your Ascendances. Hopefully you got more deeply rooted elements procs, and then you're further beyond any time that you used Elemental Blast. It extended the duration of your Ascendance. So this was the go-to kind of like single target build right? And they just nerfed the damage that you got from Primordial Surge, Lava Burst procs. So to compensate for that as well, Lava Burst damage is increased by 12%. Elemental Blast damage is increased by 6%, Earth Shock increased, and Lightning Bolt damage increased by 6%. This is a pretty darn good buff to our single target. I was doing some testing, and I was playing around with the Lightning build and on this target dummy over here. Now, I'm the same item level as my character on live. Right now, I'm like 419.5 item level, but if I put on all of my elemental gear here, the change that I'm actually getting, or at least the damage that I see using these increases on the PTR, if I had all my right gear on, and I was the same item level, so I was like 420, I think, rounded up with the new tier set on, I was doing about 12k more single target damage on the PTR using the lightning build than I was on live. So I think this is a really good change. Obviously the tier set helps with that. I think the single target damage buffs as well are obviously going to help with that, but 12k at the same item level with just a tier change and a little bit of adjustment, I think that's a substantial increase. And in AoE, I was playing the lightning build on both PTR and on live servers, just on these 5 target dummies here, and I was about 50k above live servers with these changes and the tier set in 5 target cleave. So I think that's really good as well. On the side note, enhancement, let's talk about that. So all abilities and pet damage has been increased by 5%. I think enhancement kind of needed this. They're not scaling as well as other classes in raid, so I totally agree with this change. And of course they got the same healing changes as well. Improved Maelstrom weapon increases the healing of your next spells by 5 and 10%, was 10 and 20, so that makes sense. They don't want enhancement shamans to just be this crazy off healing spec. There are moments where in the current tiers where improved Maelstrom weapon was just like topping people with a full 10 stack Maelstrom weapon healing surge, or it was just doing like a crap ton of chain healing, but that's fine. The tier set change though, for our 4 set, this is a interesting change. So Sundering now increases your physical and fire damage dealt by 20%, was 30% for 15 seconds, and you're now the 2 chain lightnings. So like it was 3 chain lightnings before. I'll just read you the tier set once I find it here in my bags. So your next 2 chain lightning casts deal 100% increased damage and refund 50% of the Maelstrom weapon stacks consumed. This has been nerfed twice actually. So it used to be 3 chain lightnings, right? Lightning damage, or the chain lightning damage, has always been 100%, but it actually used to refund 100% of the Maelstrom weapon stacks consumed. I've been testing this on the PTR here, and it's just doing ridiculous damage. Like, I am doing stupid AoE damage. I think I've bursted for like close to 550k on these 5 targets here. Which is a little crazy if you think about it. It's a little nuts, but you know, that's just the way that Shaman is right now. My single target doesn't seem to be that good, but I may just be doing things incorrectly, and I'm not used to the new kind of opener, I guess, with Sundering. And using Sundering properly as enhancement Shaman, I think, is important. It probably plays a similar role to using Doom Winds properly, right? You obviously want to line things up with the mastery buff that you get from your 2 set and the 4 set buff for fire and physical damage. So I've kind of been screwing around with it. I'll do a little bit of a showcase here for you guys, but it's been an interesting kind of damage profile. Like if I can get up to 10 Maelstrom, there we go. Okay. Like that's a lot of burst damage for an enhancement shaman. And I think I even kind of screwed it up a little bit. I screwed the pooch a little bit here. But it's doing quite a lot of damage. You can see here. Frost Shock is doing a lot there because I'm generating more Maelstrom, so I'm using more Frost Shocks. But Chain Lightning's damage is increased by a lot. And obviously I could have done better at spreading my Lashing Flames debuff there. But the amount of haste that you get from this and the mastery buff that you get from Sundering. Like right now, I'm pretty statted, so I have 79% mastery, which is ridiculous as an enhancement shaman. But if I sunder, I get put up to 103%. That's a lot of mastery. That's a stupid amount of mastery. So I'm doing 103% increased damage essentially for, what is it, 15 seconds? Yeah, 15 seconds I'm doing 103% instead of my 79. Obviously my enhancement set is pretty statted. It has a lot of gear on it, so that's got something to do with it, but it's just doing stupid damage. And then I feel like the single target is lacking a little bit, but I feel like I might be doing that wrong. Anyway, so I wanted to do this video to showcase you guys what the changes were, what my thoughts were on it. I think that both elemental and enhancement are going to be really strong next year for both the affixes that are coming. Obviously we have dispels, we have lust, we have 12-second kick. So we're going to be doing really, really well in Mythic Plus, I think, especially with the Afflicted affix that's coming out. Poison Cleansing Totem works on it. Decurse works on it, or Cleanse Spirit works on it. So we're a pretty good class coming into 10.1. I actually think that with the damage profile of Elemental Shaman and us moving more into a lightning build style, which is a lot easier to play, I think, than Icy Hot, your maintaining of Flame Shocks is just non-existent pretty much. You don't have to worry about it as much, so it's good for kind of going into pulls without having procs from your deeply rooted elements. Your sustained damage is really good, and your burst damage is good too for the lightning build. I think that Elemental is probably going to be like high A tier if I were to rank it. I haven't done enough testing for other classes on the PTR, but I'd be interested to hear about your thoughts on these changes and what you guys think you're going to be playing in 10.1. I know Mage has gotten a lot of buffs. All 3 of their specs got a lot of buffs and changes. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. I will get back to you guys with a 10.1 guide for the lightning build that's going to be coming out soon. If you want to check out my content, please go to the description down below. Check out my Instagram, my Twitter, but also I stream live on twitch.tv/BarackWithShama pretty much every day. So come follow the stream, hang out in chat, ask me questions, do whatever you guys want. But if you want to consider supporting my content, you can head over to my Patreon page. I'll be leaving the link to that in the description down below as well. But if you like the video, like it, subscribe for more Shaman content and Dragonflight for the future. And I'll see you guys next time. Keep calm and Maelstrom on. Bye-bye.